Budget 2026. Budget 2026 was presented by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st February 2026. In this video lecture, we deeply analyze the budgets. What were the good things about the budget? What were the bad things about the budget? Where does it needs improvement? So from an economist point of view, we analyze this budget. So let's move forward. The budget has also been called Yuva Shakti driven budget. The budget has three kartavyas. Kartavya number 1 is to accelerate and to sustain high economic growth. In order to accelerate economic growth of an economy, we need to increase the productivity and competitiveness of that economy in the international market. For this, the following sectors have been targeted: manufacturing sector, MSME, energy, infrastructure. And for all this, AI also has been promoted in the present budget. Kartavya number 2 is to fulfill the aspirations of the economy. To fulfill this kartavya, major policies have been in the services sector, in the education sector, in the tourism sector, in the healthcare sector that we will discuss in the later part of the video. Kartavya number 3, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. As we know that agriculture sector continues to be low in productivity and the farmer incomes continue to be low, this kartavya aims to boost the agriculture incomes of the farmers by shifting them from agriculture, from the basic agriculture, from producing wheat and rice to high yielding crops, to commercial crops. And the schemes for this we will analyze in the upcoming video. So now let's start the discussion by discussing Kartavya number 1. As we just mentioned that one of the major sector targeted under Kartavya number 1 is the manufacturing sector. So now let's look into the fact that which industries have been targeted under the Kartavya number 1 and why are they targeted. So, industries targeted are biopharma, semiconductors, electronic components, rare earth metals, chemicals, capital goods, and textiles and sports goods. So, when we talk of pharmaceutical industries, India is the third largest producer of pharmaceuticals by volume but not by value. So, what do we mean by that? Means that our goods of pharmaceuticals that are being exported are high in volume but their value is not at par with the international standards. So basically we are exporting generics, and what are the other things that we are exporting are vaccines. So we are not exporting high value pharmaceuticals. In order to promote this industry, our government is incentivizing the biopharma sector where it feels that India can emerge as a global leader in a later date. So that's why instead of just promoting generic medicine and in order to shift the perspective of the world that India can produce more than vaccines and generic medicines, we are promoting our biopharma sector. Then second industry, semiconductors. Now under this industry we have a very weak manufacturing and we have almost complete import dependence for this industry. In order to solve the problem, we are promoting this industry and giving funds for these industries, promoting these industries. Third, electronic components. Although India is strong in assembly, for example, different parts of a mobile phone would be assembled in India. But however, we cannot make those parts. We have to import those core components like chips. But now we are moving towards fully manufacturing the entire mobile phone or say the entire components of the electronics industry. So this is also a major step under the manufacturing industry. Next, rare earth minerals. Now here India has huge reserves when it comes to rare earth minerals. It can emerge as a global leader as we have a comparative advantage in having the reserves. But however, we lack in the extraction part and also we lack in developing this industry further. So that's why government has allocated separate funds for this industry in order to promote these industries. Also, China is also emerging as a leader when it comes to rare earth minerals, and seeing the geopolitical tension that is happening, India wants to reduce its import dependence. Next industries is chemicals industry. India is already a major global producer when it comes to chemical industry. But however, we need modernization and government has made an attempt to mention this industry in the budget. Then capital goods and containers. We have a very weak domestic machinery and manufacturing. In order to solve the problem and to reduce our reliance on imported machinery, we are seeking to promote this sector in the budget. Then next is the textiles and sports good. See, we have a very strong traditional sector when it comes to textiles and sports good, but however, we see that in the current times, we are losing our competitiveness to other nations. Now, apart from manufacturing, the sectors that have been promoted under Kartavya number 1 is the MSME sector. As we all know that MSME sector forms an integral part of the Indian growth story. Why? Because it promotes not only growth but employment as well as the welfare of the vulnerable sections of the society, as they are the owners of MSMEs. Now, under this, 3 major support have been extended to MSME. The first one is the liquidity support. Under this, let's understand the scheme under TREDS. So in this case, if I am an MSME and in case I sell my goods to you, now you issue an invoice to me. Now I will put this invoice under this platform TREDS, and when I put my invoice, against that invoice I can get a loan. So when you make the payment, the loan that has been given to me, the payment will go towards that. So in this case, it is an easy access to loans. It ensures that liquidity is there in the system for MSMEs. Second, equity support. An equity growth fund would be set up for them, and schemes would be for their welfare, for giving them loans and so on. Next, they will be given professional support in tax filing, in understanding the rules and regulations of the economy related to industries, as they often lack the skills required to carry out the professional and the administrative and the legal tasks in order to run the business. So these were the schemes that are there for the MSME sector. I mentioned that in order for manufacturing and MSMEs to grow, another thing that is very, very important is the infrastructure of an economy. Imagine that there is an industry that builds some goods and it needs to transport that goods to another state or another market. Now, in that case, we really need strong roads, we really need a good infrastructure, good power, good transport, good communication. In order to ensure that, the government has increased its expenditure on public capital expenditure to 12.2 lakh crores. It has gone up from last year, and if we compare this expenditure to financial year 2015, it has grown massively. Now next, what are the schemes that are there in order to improve the infrastructure of the economy? The schemes that have been there are: the government will build 20 new national waterways connecting mineral-rich areas so that transport of goods and services can be done. Next, the government will build new dedicated freight corridors that will connect Dhankuni to the east and Surat in the west. Next scheme, the government will build 7 high-speed rail corridors as growth connectors between major cities. So basically, the aim of these schemes is to facilitate easy transport of goods across various states and across various cities. Next, we move to Kartavya number 2. As I just mentioned in the start of the video, the second Kartavya involves fulfilling the aspirations of the people and the economy. In order to fulfill the aspirations of the people and the economy, we focus on the service sector. So now let's see what are the schemes under this Kartavya number 2. The government will, what is the main basic goal of this Kartavya number 2? Education to employment and enterprise. So basically now we see that the youth that is being educated and that is coming out of colleges is not employable, in the sense that they sometimes lack the skills that are required for employability. So that's why we need to turn education into employment. This has been the goal. Next, the government aims to promote allied health professionals. So what are these allied health professionals? Basically dietitians, the things that are related to health but they are not related to the core medical field. Dietitians, diabetics, physiotherapists, nutritionists. So the government aims to promote these professionals. Next, care ecosystem. So basically we will promote caregivers and we will ensure that there are a variety of NSQF aligned programs to train 1.5 lakh multi-skilled caregivers. Then we will also promote medical tourism. As we have noticed in the past, there are a lot of foreigners who come to India for medical treatment. So we will try to promote that. Why? Because it's a area where the Indian economy can grow. Then Ayush. A huge importance was given to this Ayush scheme after COVID. So basically India aims to give more growth to the Ayurveda through its scheme Ayush, and under this scheme, 3 new All India Institutes of Ayurveda will be set up. Then government has introduced a new term which is orange economy. Now what is this orange economy? This is the creative economy. Now under this, as we know, content creation is growing, animation is growing, video editing is growing, gaming is growing, visual effects are growing. So in this case, government aims that our students have access to these skills at a very young age. So there are schemes for this orange economy as well. Then next we have schemes for sports and design as well. Next important things, we have focused on setting up girls hostel in every district. Next, we have also seen that the government is promoting tourism by focusing on training guides, by building sites where the travelers can visit. We move to Kartavya number 3. As I just mentioned in the starting, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. And this Kartavya basically aims at promoting our agriculture sector. So the focus of this Kartavya is to shift from the basic crops to high yielding crops like coconut, like horticulture, like fruits and vegetables, coffee. What are the schemes that are there? There will be a dedicated program for horticulture, which involves that we are shifting from old low yielding orchards to expand high density cultivation of walnuts, almonds and pine nuts. Next, we want to promote animal husbandry. So basically we are shifting from core agriculture to other agriculture related activities. Next, we are shifting to high value agriculture. Next, we want to shift to programs for the growth of cashew and cocoa. Why these goods? Because they are good commercial crops. Then we want to shift to fisheries. Then we want to shift to sandalwood. And then Bharat Vistar. See, Bharat Vistar is an online platform that informs farmers of the various ways in which they can carry out the production of these new variety crops. So basically we are shifting to crops that will have commercial values, the crops which can be used for further production for the food processing industry. So it will be a major shift. It will help in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and boosting farmers' incomes. So this was all about the 3 Kartavyas. Apart from that, the government made it clear that it was successful in maintaining a fiscal deficit of 4.4% of GDP, and in the coming year it will be at a fiscal deficit of 4.3% of GDP. So the government has managed to achieve the targets that it has envisioned for the fiscal deficit. Also, it aims to reduce the debt GDP ratio to 50% by 2050. Currently, the debt GDP ratio stands at 56.2, which will be reduced to close to 55% in the next fiscal year. So this was all about the fiscal matters. Next part of the budget is the tax related laws. So the first part of the budget was about these 3 Kartavyas. The next part has some tax related laws. So let's explore what are these. The major thing that we need to discuss here is that there has been no changes in the slabs of taxation. So all the slabs and all the rates continue to be the same. Next, what we see is that there has been a rise in STT on futures and options. So it is a kind of tax that people give when they trade in options and futures. This has been done to control the volatility of the market. However, the stock markets did not take it very nicely and the stock markets were down because of this one move. Next, tax holiday for foreign companies using data centers in India to provide cloud centers till 2047. So what is this scheme all about? Let me explain to you. So now what is happening is that we need a lot of cloud services. As we are growing, as we are in the world of AI, various corporate sectors, various companies need a lot of softwares, need a lot of services. Now they cannot have the back end of these services in their corporate offices. So what happens in this case? There are service providers. For example, all the companies in Gurgaon can enroll to one service provider of these services services in one area. So for example, there is Amazon Cloud Services, there is Google Cloud Services. So what will this Amazon do? It will set up a data center in a place, and through its data center it will give services to all its clients in Gurgaon. What will be these services? Basically, maybe usage of SaaS, maybe usage of some data related and cloud services. For that it will charge a fees. So government is inviting foreign investors to come in India, use the data centers of India and provide these services to the industries, to the corporates for its growth. So it has been named as a good move. Why? Because it will promote AI, which will be the need of tomorrow. Next, there has been a tax reduction in tax on foreign travel, custom duties on personal imports, and basically NRI's incomes will not be. So there has been a reduction in tax on the NRI incomes who earn income from India. So these were the major tax related laws that have been introduced. We move on to the view of the budget. Like, what do we have to analyze? What did we analyze from the budget? The good things about the budget was that there was a huge increase in spending on manufacturing sector, MSMEs and infrastructure. This will boost GDP. This will have a multiplier effect on growth. So it is a very good move by the finance minister. Next, the finance minister was criticized that there has been no change in income tax slabs. However, this has been responded in a way that already income up to 12 lakhs is non-taxable, right? Because the tax gets refunded. And we have been seeing that the base of the personal income tax has been expanding. That means more and more people are volunteering to pay the tax. So these are the points that have been given against this criticism. Next, what we have seen is that government is moving towards high value crops, which is a thumbs up. Then next what we saw was that there was a rise in STC, STT, which was not taken in a good way by the stock markets, but however it will reduce speculation in the long run and it can be seen as a good move by the government. Next we see that spending on health and education as a percentage of total GDP is low, which has been a criticism prior to the budget as well. So this was all about budget 2026. If you have any more views on the budget, do let us know in the comment section. Also, for more such videos on economic current affairs, do follow the channel and don't forget to subscribe on the channel. Thank you everyone for watching.